Hi everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a very simple thank you card project. I needed to create 2 thank you cards for the coaches of my son's high school ultimate team. My son just graduated from high school and he has amazing coaches. And the team name, the Stars. Yes. I had this die, and even though my son's most recent jersey has a rainbow on it, you're going to have to trust me. It's all going to work. All right, let's take a look at the products that I'll be using today. The inspiration for this card is the Simon Says Stamp Star Stream. And yes, I did just nail the alliteration on that one. But this die is this awesome little thread of stars, and I thought it would be perfect for the coaches of the Great River Stars. Also, big thanks words. This is a fantastic stamp set with so many thanks. I'm going to be using Versamark and a Versamarker. Have you ever used a Versamarker? Because I had not, but the idea that I had for this card required the ability to apply Versamark to a small area. So I went out and bought one. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to be using some Simon Says Stamp embossing powder in antique gold for my stars. I also have some thin foam squares because I'm going to pop those stars up, and a few other things. I've got this Lawn Fawn dotted frame, and for cardstock I'll be using In the Navy from Gina Designs and just some good old-fashioned Neenah Classic Crest Solar White, plus some other tools as we go. All right, let's get started with die cutting. I'm going to be die cutting some of these star strips from the Neenah Solar White, and I'm using the 110 pound just because I wanted it to be a little sturdier because it's such a delicate die. Going to run this through, and I'm going to be cutting out, I think I ended up cutting out about 3 or 4. And today I'm actually using my Big Shot, my Stampin' Up! Big Shot, because my Platinum 6 is being borrowed temporarily. All right, so I'm going to cut out several of these in case I screw up. While I've got the die cut machine out, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the dotted panel from the In the Navy cardstock. Hey, there I am. It's so shiny. You can see yourself. Thank you. But I'm going to cut this panel out. I love my Lawn Fawn dies. I have a basic collection, and the thin dotted panels that this cuts, I just think that is charming. Love it. All right, moving on. Now time for the Versamarker. So here's what I'm doing. I am coloring the Versamark ink, the sticky ink, just over the stars. And this was a good solution to get the powder right onto those tiny spaces. I'm going to tell you straight up, the one thing I forgot to do with this, I forgot to run my anti-static powder tool over, and so the sample that I'm doing right now, I actually had to redo, but the process is the same. I'm going to pour my embossing powder over this delicate little die, and you can see the powder just sticks where I want it to stick, to the stars. And I'm using a clothespin just because this thing is super delicate and I don't want my fingers anywhere near the heat. But then I bring out the Great State of Minnesota board and go ahead and heat set that until the gold powder is all melty. And then repeat. I want to have a really nice coating on my stars and make it as smooth as possible. And so I went over one more time with the Versamarker and then more powder. And you could do this 3 times, you could do it 4 times, you could get tons of powder and melt it. Whatever you like. I just decided to stick with 2 because I figured I don't think the coaches are going to keep these cards forever, so let's not go overboard. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. So I repeated that process until I had more star streams. Now I'm going to use my MISTI tool to do some stamping of my sentiment, my thank you. And I needed to lay down my streams to kind of get an idea of where I wanted my sentiment to go. There's so many great thanks stamps in this set, but I wanted something minimal. You know, it's for the coaches of Ultimate. I wanted to keep it a little more straightforward, if you will. And so that really simple sans serif thanks was perfect. I used one of my MISTI Creative Corner pieces to get it perfectly lined up, picked it up with my MISTI door, and now I am bringing that static pad out because, especially on dark cardstock, you really want to powder it up so that your embossing powder doesn't stick anywhere other than the sticky ink. So, inking that up with the Versamark and get a good impression. And now I'm ready to add my powder. So again, using the same antique gold, it's going to get that on, tap it off, wipe off any errant flakes that stick. That looks pretty good. And my heat tool is nice and hot, and I will quickly hit that with heat so that it is nice and melted and gold and shiny. One thing I like to do once the embossing is completely dry, I have this anti-static, I guess it's an e-cloth, to wipe off the powder, especially on dark cardstock, just to get it all off. And now I'm going to cut some teeny little pieces of foam adhesive. I'm already using a thin foam square from Scrapbook Adhesives, but I'm cutting even tinier pieces because I want to pop up those stars, and they're really small. I felt like a watchmaker. Like I should have these giant Coke bottle glasses because I almost couldn't see what I was doing. But I will say this, my little Tim Holtz craft pick, it actually helps to put the foam on the tip because my fingers are just too meaty. I can't see beyond my fingers. But once I get it all on, I was able to peel off the backings and then just position my star streams. And it's subtle. It's a little pop-up, you know, it's nothing too crazy. But I thought it was nice. And once I get the streams on, I'll just flip them over and trim off the excess using my tonic guillotine trimmer for a nice, quick, clean trim. You could also use scissors too. I'm not very good with scissors, trust me. So there is the first panel. Now I'm going to trim my card base. It's just going to be top folding, 5.5 by 4 1/4. Give it a good press down with that amazing Teflon bone folder. And I like to keep my cards closed while I'm adhering everything, so I put a little low-tack tape in there. And now I am going to take some fun foam. I love fun foam just because it creates this nice even layer of dimension. Sometimes I use foam tape, but a lot of times I reach for the fun foam. You buy a pack of it, it lasts for a while. But I'm going to adhere it to the card panel with some Scrapbook Adhesives tape runner. That stuff is great. And now I'm just going to use some liquid glue. This is the Gina Connect liquid glue. And the thing that I have been loving about liquid glue is that when you place it down on the card base, you have a little bit of time to move it and get it perfect, because I want those margins to be even. You know what I mean? I don't like it when I stick something down and it's not even, and I hate that. But there is the finished card. I think this is really simple. I made 2 of them because there are 2 coaches, and I am so happy with the results. I've never used a Versamarker, so maybe you might want to give one a try as well. Thanks so much for watching today. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing or give the video a thumbs up. And if you hated this card, you know, that's okay. We're all different. Okay, I'll see you next time.